Hey friends, Australia has just cancelled the visa of an Israeli politician, literally a day before his speaking tour was supposed to begin. Now on the surface, this might sound like just another diplomatic scuffle, but if you look closer, it connects to deeper questions about politics, public opinion, and how countries balance international relations with domestic pressure. If this kind of deep dive interests you, don't forget to subscribe right now, because here on Mr. America, we dive into stories that mainstream media often glosses over. So here's the big question. Why would Australia, a country known for its strong ties with the West and traditionally supportive of Israel, take such a dramatic step? Canceling a visa isn't a casual move. It signals disagreement, tension, and maybe even public pressure. And that's where the mystery starts. Was this about the politician himself? Was it about Israel's current global image? Or was it about domestic politics inside Australia? The Israeli politician at the center of this drama was scheduled for a multi-city speaking tour across Australia. These events usually attract community leaders, diplomats, academics, and sometimes protests. The cancellation wasn't announced weeks ahead. It happened just a day before the tour. That timing is important. It suggests that something shifted quickly. Maybe lobbying by activists, maybe security concerns, or maybe a sudden political decision at the highest levels. Show global news headlines about Australia-Israel relations plus map highlighting Australia and Israel. Australia, like many Western democracies, has seen increasing protests over the ongoing situation in Gaza. University students, activist groups, and even some lawmakers have been pressuring the government to take a stronger stand. Could it be that allowing this politician to speak publicly would have triggered massive protests? Could it have risked overshadowing the government's agenda at home? We've seen similar patterns before. In the UK, in the US, and Canada, Israeli politicians sometimes face hostile receptions, protests, or even disruptions during events. So, Australia might have simply decided it's not worth the risk. Footage of student protests, protest signs, and Australian parliament debates. Now here's where it gets interesting. Australia is walking a very fine line. On one hand, it's allied with the US and, by extension, often supportive of Israel. On the other hand, it has a large and vocal population of people who want stronger accountability for Israel's actions in Gaza. Canceling this visa can be seen as a gesture, a way to show domestic audiences that the government is listening while stopping short of a full policy shift. But here's the deeper question. Does this set a precedent? Will other Western nations start doing the same? Infographic showing Australia's voting patterns on UN resolutions regarding Israel. We're living in a moment where small acts by countries, like canceling a visa, create ripple effects. Israel is already facing diplomatic isolation in some areas, with more countries recognizing Palestine, suspending defense deals, or calling for sanctions. If Australia is willing to block a politician's speaking tour, what does that mean for the future of Israel's public diplomacy efforts? Will politicians start avoiding certain countries altogether? And here's something to think about. If this can happen in Australia, could it happen in the US one day? World map with ripple animation showing diplomatic shifts. The most fascinating part of this story is still the timing. Why the day before? Why not earlier? That late move suggests either new intelligence, sudden political pressure, or maybe even something personal about the politician's background that didn't check out in security reviews. And that's the suspenseful part. We don't fully know yet. What we do know is that Australia chose to send a message. Certain figures are not welcome, at least not right now. Zoomed-in document footage of visa cancellation notice, blurred details. And if you've made it this far, maybe consider subscribing. It helps this channel grow, and it lets me keep bringing you deeper stories that others ignore. Also, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Do you think Australia was right to cancel this visa, or was it an overreaction? Here's why this matters even if you're not Australian or Israeli. We're in an era where international politics doesn't stay international. It spills into everyday life, protests on college campuses, debates in local communities, even the products you buy. For example, I came across a fascinating book on Amazon about how governments use soft power and public diplomacy in modern times. If you want to understand why moments like this matter, it's worth checking out. Link is in the description. B-roll of bookshelves, someone reading a book on politics, Amazon product screenshot. So let's circle back to the original question. Why did Australia cancel the visa? The most likely answer is a combination of public pressure, political calculation, and timing. It's less about the individual and more about the signal. A signal to Australia's citizens, to Israel, and to the world. And that's where I'll leave you with a thought. If even allies are starting to distance themselves, what does that mean for Israel's long-term strategy? And will we see more countries follow Australia's path? That's the suspense we're left with, and something we'll be watching closely. Fade out with globe spinning slowly, headlines flashing across screen. Hey friends, thanks for sticking with me through this deep dive. If you found this perspective valuable, subscribe. It really helps. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Was Australia justified, or was this political theater? This is Mr. America, and I'll see you in the next story.